Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look back at the Queso Cup games we faced versus Qlash. I know we literally played it like a week ago now, but it's still good to take a look into the competitive meta, give you my thoughts on why we did certain things. So just before going into the gameplay, the 4 bans to take in consideration. Both teams had 2 bans, but the 4 bans were B, Byron, Cole, and Edgar. They're the 4 strongest brawlers in the meta at the moment, so all of them out of play. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, so the first game is Hot Zone Split. Well, the first set is Hot Zone Split, so it's going to be a best of 5, best of 5. So a bit of a longer format than the normal. So going into the first game, the normal generic comp that people tend to go is Tick, Rico, and Surge, but obviously bans are going to be impacting them a lot, and especially with Pam being so strong. Pam has came into the meta, especially on Split, because of how well she deals with Tick. She's just a really tanky character. Even Rico doesn't really have the best of matchups against Pam, especially when she's already got that healing turret behind it, exactly like Semantic has. So the idea with Sprout was to counter the Rico pick down the left-hand side, but unfortunately they went Pam, and Pam is an insane counter to Sprout. She just has so much HP, as I said, and she heals up a load with that super. And then they've gone for Bieber as well. Not really a brawler that we've seen them picking scrims and whatnot, so it's kind of hard. I did the best I could against the Pam. I did some really good walls. We could just say Gio straight away, just using his gadgets all of the time. It's near enough impossible to win that lane unless he just plays it absolutely awfully. And Gio is one of the best players in the world. There's no way that he's going to be losing lane to a Sprout as a Pam. So already they do have the lane. I've literally not even had a chance to go up there, just because if the second I go a little bit aggressive, the Pam can just completely just destroy me. Kale's doing a good job just to get time. He keeps going in over and over again and dying, but he's getting that time in the hot zone. That's all that matters at the end of the day. People try and focus on staying alive more, but obviously getting that percentage is really good. Gia's just doing a good job of keeping that hand side. Even though we only need the right hand side, he can just keep that one and keep me away, and there's no way we're going to get it. So it's going to be an easy, basically, win for them. We just got completely out comps inside of this first one. Really unfortunate, because we always just tend to go to Rico. If we went Rico, I felt like there's probably no way we're going to lose this game, but we only need 1% here, and I do actually manage to kill Guille there. I didn't see that one, but now we only need 1%. Literally all 3 of them can just run at us and get that last percentage. So that's going to be the first game. Go into Qlash. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, going into the second game of the set. So they're currently 1-0 up. You need to win 3 to win the set. So straight away, we completely outbrained them with this one. It was kind of just common for us to just go straight to Rico. So then they went for the Sprout pick to counter our Rico, but doing the reverse psychology, we picked the Surge because we had a feeling they were going to pick something to counter the Rico, and Surge is just a really good aggro brawler. You see me straight away just TPing straight into their spawn, killing the Tick, doing good damage to Chaos, and getting down Pam as well. Really good start in open play. It allows Semantic to get his turret as well. And Semantic against 2 throws should be pretty decent. I have a kind of hard matchup with Pam, just because Pam's got all our healings, but once the gadgets are gone for Pam, you shouldn't really have too much of an issue, especially if Tom's helping me down the lane. So Tom does kill Trevor there, but as I said, Semantic should be able to deal with a Sprout pretty comfortably. As long as he keeps his super alive, should be pretty easy. So I do go down there with Surge, which is a bit unfortunate, but Surge always been good on this map, even though I've not really been the one to play Surge on this one. Surge kind of an easy brawler to play, and one of my favorite brawlers to play, so I'm always going to be playing that well. I do use super there, probably a little bit too early. You don't want to use super as well when you're facing a Tick as a Surge, because you can't dodge a Tick shot, because he'll still be there once you jump on the floor. Do manage to take him down there with the help of Tom. And that's where Tom comes in so clutch, because he's such a good Tick. And you have to be really wary of both lanes when you're playing Tick on this map, especially because you can just help win both lanes completely if you're a really good Tick. We just see already Guille really low because of how much damage Tom put out on him. And I've got some good pressure keeping Trevor back. I'm basically wasting all of Trevor's shots, allowing Semantic to basically near enough win that lane. With Tom helping me so much on that lane, that's probably why Semantic hasn't got as much of the zone as he would have liked. But Tom basically winning my lane again for me, and do manage to get geared down. Now I've got all my levels as well. They can't afford to group up whatsoever with Surge, so now I just need to stay alive. Do get a nice shot on Trevor, allowing Tom to take him down. It's basically GG's. Now we've got both of the zones, so that's going to be 1-1 in the sets overall for us. Really well played for us on that one. Completely outcomping them. Let's hop into the next game. All right, guys, so hopping into the next game. So we had the feeling they were going to start to bring out the aggro on us. They do like to go a lot of tanks on hot zone, and Poco is in play. That's why normally you've got to have Rico in play just to cover comps like this one. So this is where Rico just excels, because soon be absolutely shredding gear. But I did waste a super there, but it doesn't really matter at all, because you get your super back basically instantly against tanks. I just wanted to make sure I got gear down, because if he got a couple of shots towards his super, and that's where it starts to get bad. So probably a little bit bad here. I go right into it. Actually, no, I only feed him one shot, so that was alright. Just absolutely destroy him. People say obviously Rico's matchup against tanks is really good, but he's still got to play it really well. He's still got to make sure you're not feeding them, and I just won my lane, which is just all I needed to do really. So now they're all going down that lane, which is pretty sensible from them. I think Gear's trying to get super to break it up. Semantic unfortunately does feed him super. I remember at the time Willich said in VC to try not and break that up, but obviously we're not really scrimmed a lot, especially for this tournament. I think we only scrimmed once, maybe twice maximum. For these, in comparison to Qlash, I think they scrimmed a lot. They were scrimming like 2 or 3 times a day for like a week straight. So they probably knew this comps better, know how to play it a lot better. So now, see, the Frank's got super. You can just open that up. That's not what you want when you've got a Rico on your side. And probably shouldn't have switched, to be honest. Should have just kept me on the right lane. I think we're just a bit panicked. We've not obviously faced this before. But what is best, as always, as I say, when you make mistakes, you just learn how to not make them again. And we did make a big mistake in switching the lanes, because obviously I'm better against Poco and a tank. Pam can't really deal with that, so that's where I go on to switch. But they've just got so much time on the zone. They only need 4 more percentage, and it's going to be so hard to keep them off. So Semantic goes down that lane. Rose is actually a really underrated pick, because of the shield allows her to stay in the zone for much longer. But now Chaos is in behind. It's basically nothing we can do, especially without shield. They're basically getting 3 percentages from the shield, because you can't touch Rosa with that shield enabled. That's going to be another game for Qlash. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, hopping into the next game then. So currently it's 2-1 to Qlash. They need 1 more to actually get set. So this is really important. We actually went for the Gale and Jackie. Not really many people tend to use this one. I remember literally probably 3-4 months ago when Tick used to be meta, a few people used to play Gale mid, and that strategy was actually invented by Curse. Shout out to Curse. He actually brought this out in a scrim against us, and sending the Jackie over to the lane when there's a thrower or a tick, you're just going to be completely dominating them. But they've kept with the Poco double tank, which I'm really surprised by, to be honest. Gale not really best in the meta. Probably one of the only modes you can play Gale in is Hot Zone, just because of a knockback, and that is decent against tanks. You see Semantic going in there, and another small error just because he fed Frank super, unfortunately. You never want to go, especially against Poco double tank as a solo Jackie. You never want to go against that, because see me chaining supers and Tom pushing him away. I do nearly go down, but even with Semantic making a mistake, he does do really, really well in basically winning the lane of the Rosa. He got a lot of time on that zone there. Rosa should be able to beat Jackie in a 1v1 pretty easily once you get the first super and just cycle over and over again. But me and Tom got amazing synergy down this right hand side. Nothing really Frank and Poco can do. They're doing actually a decent job of getting a bit of percentage. You can see Semantic with a really big brain play down that left hand side. What he did, he actually supered Rosa, so Rosa's shield timing would actually run out, enabling him to win that matchup. So that was big brain from Semantic. He's able to clutch up. In the end, we win that game. Let's hop into the next one. Right, guys, moving on to the final game of the set. So currently it is 2-2 in the first set of Hot Zone. And again, I'm really enjoying the Hot Zone, to be honest. The meta is really nice when there's 4 bans in play. And one of my actual favorite modes to play in the current rotation. I'd never thought I'd have said this 4 months ago. Literally, all the pros hated this mode. No one played it on ladder, but it's starting to get a lot more likes. Well, much more enjoyable. And hopefully in the 2021, I believe, yeah, Hot Zone actually is a mode. I just remembered they did announce it a few weeks ago. So I'm quite excited to see how the meta develops. And hopefully they do incorporate a 4-ban system for next season. That'll be really interesting. It just switches up the meta a lot, and especially when there's 4, 5, 6 broken brawlers in the game like there is in this meta, it just enables for it to be a fresh meta. So Semantic gets a really nice stun there. I do switch because no one's going onto Tom's lane, so we kind of call that out early. Tom can just sit there, basically do nothing, and Rico can just basically 1v3 tank. So I do a really good job. There's no point really hyping me up too much, because everyone really knows I'm a good at Rico, but at the same time I'm facing a Poco double tank, and Rico basically hard counters them to hell. As long as I'm staying alive, which I'm being able to do, most Ricos should be able to do what I'm doing in here. But it's so satisfying to see me chain all these supers over and over again. I can see the really good synergy from Tom knocking them into my super, just clean them all out. That was just so satisfying to see. A nice Gale super and then a Rico super. That's just perfection from me and Tom. Now Semantic's got his super. He can just basically to waste his super. There's no way they're going to be able to do anything because by the time they're reaching the zone, Tom could just knock them straight back. But that's going to be the set win for us. That's going to be the first set going to us. Let's hop into the next game. All right, guys, hopping into the first game of Gem Grab Crystal Arcade. So again, 8-bit is in play, and 8-bit is so strong on Gem Grab. You can either play 8-bit mid or lane. So it's a really good hybrid brawler in that sense. So always good to have an 8-bit on your team if available. Probably the best brawler in Gem Grab at the moment. And then I've gone for a Piper because a lot of people tend to play either Piper mid or 8-bit mid or Sprout mid. So Piper is just good in the fact that you can either go straight onto 8-bit because Piper hard counters the hell out of 8-bit, especially with snappy sniping. We're able to pinch really well there. You've just seen us absolutely clear them out, and that is perfect because they actually have the counter comp. But Mr. P is much better than Colette down the lane. We actually went Colette because we thought they'd probably bring out some aggressive comps. So Smatic's done an amazing job as Colette because, as I said, he just really doesn't have a good matchup. But as you can see, sneaking in the grass here, playing really, really well. And Sprout should actually hard counter the hell out of us. So the only way we're only going to win the mid is if I did exactly like that. I've got to feed my supers off the lanes really quick. And I've got to just get my super really quick and break it up. Once you break it up, it's easy against Sprout. But what Sprout can do as well on this map, as you've probably seen before, if you haven't already, he can just put a wall straight in the mid and just be cycling the Sprout walls over and over again. He free shots me. Sprout basically is a hard counter to Piper. Was one of the main reasons why Piper was a meta a few months ago because of how good Sprout was as a mid. He's such a good mid. And to be honest, we just really played it really well and just gave him no chance breaking up the map a lot. But that's going to be the first win. Let's hop into the next game. Alright guys, hopping into the next game then. So, we've actually kept with the Colette, which is a bit of a risky pick, to be honest. We don't really play Colette too much, but it's just to cover the aggro comps. Poco is in place, so you've got to be really careful of that. And that's probably why we didn't play Mr. P the first two games, because if any type of aggro, Mr. P is basically screwed. And that's where rock, paper, scissors comes into play the most, is when Mr. P is in play, because for example, I'll just give a brief run over of that one, but it's mainly when Mr. P is in the meta. So Mr. P is good against a lot of control brawlers because he just is. He has a lot of damage. It's just that type of brawler. But then Mr. P gets hard countered the hell out of brawlers like Jackie and Mortis, and you just see this rotation of 3 different comps all countering each other, and the counters to the counters, etc, etc. It's really hard to explain in that sense, but that's just a brief summary of how the meta kind of goes when Mr. P is in play. That's why you see a lot of teams just ban Mr. P flat out, because it removes a lot of rock, paper, scissors in competitive. It's a lot about mind games in competitive, more so about actually how you play the game, because you can basically outcomp someone as soon as the match starts. But not really spoke about a match at the moment, but Tom does unfortunately lose a lane there, but not really in the best spot because Linane has managed to break it up, and he has a gem lead here as well. And everyone's one lane, and it's really hard to win back, especially when you've got Mr. P sat in that bush. He does a lot of damage. You can easily hard counter the Colette. And you see what actually went wrong. I think I actually missed it, but what from I remember is that Guille sneaked in the bush about a minute ago now. That already happened, but he sneaks in the bush and completely caught me off guard, and that basically lost us the game. Once you lose control on this map, it's really hard to gain it back. But that's going to be the set equalizer right there, 1-1. Let's hop into the next game. All right, guys, hopping into the next game of Gem Grab, and surprisingly, they've gone Leon. So I've not really, as I said, really took into consideration any Qlash scrims. We've not really scrimmed a lot before this, and they probably scrimmed a lot and tested a lot of different things. Leon, really surprising. He actually is good on this map and Undermine, as I've mentioned before. They actually can win a lot of different lanes if you play it correctly, but it's actually really hard. Never ever seen a Leon in competitive. There's just better options than Leon. They could have gone like Mortis. He's just a better aggro brawler than Leon, to be honest. He does actually win lane with the help from Linane. But the way to play against Leon, especially when you've got an 8-bit in your team, you can just use your turret and just stay around the turret. There's no way Leon's going to be able to do anything, but it's just a sense that you don't know where he is in a bush. He's got that invis as well, so it did actually catch us by surprise, which I believe that's what they tried to do, which is fair enough. But do get a good scan from Semantic there. Now Leona is in Viz, but nothing Leona can do, especially going for the 8-bit. That was probably the biggest error from Trevor right there, is wasting his Invisible heal on 8-bit. With that TP, completely hard counters him, because the second Leon reveals himself, just TP straight away out, and that's Leon's super gone. So bit of a waste of a pick from them. To be honest, I didn't even know what I did. I think I just completely won my mid as well. But that's going to be Basically, a really easy game. No idea why they went Leon. Really strange pick. It would have been good if it worked out. But as I said, Mortis just a way better pick if they're thinking of going any aggro brawler. But that's going to be another game to us. So 2-1 up right now. Let's hop into the next one. Right, guys, going into the next game of Gem Grab. So this Gem Grab game is one of the most insane Gem Grab games I've had in a very long time. So as I said, I kind of felt Linane was going to bring out Mortis at some point. He's actually a really good Mortis player and a new player from Qlash. Many people might not actually know of him, but I've played a lot of ladder with him. He's actually kind of fairly new to the scene. He's always played on a team that I've done decently in terms of like top 16, top 8 in terms of qualifiers and whatnot. But now he's actually on Qlash, one of the best teams in the world. It'll be interesting to see what Linane does next year. Very good player, as I said, really good at the aggro brawlers. Does get taken down there as Mortis, but Mortis should be able to do really well as long as he stays on with Piper and Mr. P. He just hard counters the hell out of us, especially if we don't have the knockback gadget, which I don't have. But we're doing a good job with the matchup so far. Mortis doesn't really have a good matchup with 8-bit because of how much damage he does, especially in that turret. 8-bit, as I said, just so strong. Probably going to be one of the most banned brawlers if it stays the same. If you don't get any type of nerf, I can see him being banned a hell of a lot just because he's good on heist, he's good on gem grab, he's good on really open rubble maps as well. He's good everywhere, basically. 8-bit secretly one of the best brawlers in the game. But now this is where it went all wrong for Qlash. So Linane unfortunately had to pick up the gems, and as you guys probably know, if you're an aggro brawler with the gems, you can't really keep going aggro because as you're gonna potentially throw the game, especially when you've got 9 gems now. He does actually a good job of getting the gems, but we do also a really good job of all staying in the mid, which is exactly what we needed to do. Just make sure that Mortis couldn't just dash in. As long as all stay alive, all stay together, nothing they can really do because Mortis has the gems, so he can't go in aggro anymore. What he probably should have done, and what he probably learned from his mistake, is when he actually got out with the gems, he was quite weak. He should have just let me kill him and then let the gem guard pick him. Gem carrier pick up the gems. I think it was the Piper that was behind him like a minute ago. He should have actually done this because this is basically what cost him the game. So Smantic going in there and I get a nice snipe, able to get him out of there. I'm able to get the gems and jump out. So it's really well played from us to come back from that one, but really unfortunate that the Mortis had the gems. And I've been in that scenario a few times and we've learned from it ourselves, is when you're an aggro brawler, you've got the gems, you just kind of want to die, let your gem carrier pick up the gems so then you can respawn and be aggro. Else something like that happens, it just completely loses your game. So that's going to be gem grab. Let's hop into the next one. All right, guys, going into Brawl now. So 2 sets up. This is going to be the 3rd set Brawl. So Super Stadium. We've already faced Qlash like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they went this exact comp, so it's really predictable from them. That's why we brought out the Nita and the Spike. Spike's really good against Frank, really good against tanky comps. Nita also good against tanks, and just good lane brawler overall at the moment. Then we went for the Mr. P mid, just because he can help lane a lot. We were actually thinking of Lumid, which I'm really glad we didn't go Lumid, to be honest, because I kind of probably actually overrate him a little bit. I know I did a video of him being underrated in a previous video, but not the best mid. He's really good on Siege and Hot Zone and maps like that. But in terms of mids, Mr. P is just way better. He can help the lanes way easier. So they're going to use speed on the Frank there. But as long as Semantic's staying alive, he's using a Fertilizer as well. And Fertilizer is much better in this meta, by the way, just because Spike's reload speed's gone down. He's really squishy in this meta. Don't really favor him too much. But when you lose him Fertilize, he's able to stay alive much better. But that's going to be the first goal going it to us. So really well played to get him down. Now we're just going to be careful of the max speed again. That's when they're going to be really troublesome. We're playing really good there. Trevor, not too sure what he was doing there, just because he basically gave us a free kill. And Smatic able to squeeze that in an insane goal. Let's hop into the next game. All right, guys, going into the next game. So we've actually gone through a mirror matchup here. We knew they were going to switch to the Barley to counter Spike, so we went with a Barley on our own. A complete mirror matchup, so no complaints around the board if we lose this one. So Smatic unfortunately goes down there. Gear going really aggressive, and Barley should always be in Nita lane, just because Nita just can't get in the distance. If you're conserving your ammo really well with Barley, there's no way really should lose that lane unless there's like a really good pinch coming from the mid or just a load of other circumstances. But basically Nita should always be losing if your Barley's playing well. And Gear's obviously really good Barley. Tom's a really good Barley as well. So you shouldn't really see these two be losing lane. But I'll go and help Gear over there. Gear does go a bit aggro, and Semantic's able to get a few shots towards his bear. And that's going to be crucial in winning the game overall, is getting that Nita bear up, getting a lot of pressure, especially with the, I think it's Fox 4. I don't even know how to say that gadget, but basically the shield gadget on the Nita is going to be able to push Brawl is back a lot more. And when Nita first came into the meta with the balances, I thought stun was going to be better overall, but over time I've kind of adjusted to it, and shield is probably the better gadget for Nita, just because in most scenarios you're not going to be facing tanks. On ladder, on certain maps, I may use stun if I'm facing a lot of Jackies, for example. That's going to be the main problem for Nita, is the Jackies being really aggro. But other than that, the shield one's just going to be better in most scenarios. But you see here, really clever play from myself. I know that Barley's out of position, hasn't got any ammo. I know Mr. P hasn't got much ammo, so I'm just able to take opportunity and just walk that one in. Really simple. That just looked bizarre on the front of it, but it was just clever thinking. And if the opportunity is there, I'm going to take it. So what you realise from me in these games is that I'm starting to play a lot more aggressive than before. And that's one thing Trevor noticed beforehand. I do unfortunately just miss out on that goal because of 70 HP, but even Trevor commented on before that, and I'm still improving a lot. Just because I've just been trying to adapt my playstyle. Before I was a bit too passive, wasn't really making any aggro plays, but now I'm starting to make a lot more aggro plays just to get you a lot of pressure, and my new playstyle probably is suiting us a lot more. So we do get that goal, and now only 20 seconds left. All we need to do is cycle or death. So that's kind of what the judgment of call we do when we're playing Brawl. As long as you're cycling it well, getting a good respawn, there's no way that a team should be able to score, because you're just constantly keeping up a good cycle. 2 people on the field at all times. But that's going to be another set, well, not set win, actually another win for us. 2-0 up in this set. Let's hop into the next game. Alright guys, going into the next game then. So, bit of a weird comp choice from them. Carl really has fell out of the meta. He's not good in Brawl at all anymore. To be honest, not really good in any mode. Even with the range nerf, I didn't really think it would actually have much of an impact, but it has a massive impact, especially with Jackie being in the meta now. Jackie just hard counters Carl really easily, and you can see here straight away Semantic spinning. Never really see Semantic spin. We're able just to get a goal as easily as that one. As I said, the Carl pick, really not too sure why, especially with Nita in play as well. Nita just completely wrecks Carl. We've got to be careful here with the gadget. Semantic noticing that one, we called it out pretty early, but again, Cole just not going to have a good matchup against Jackie at all. He has no good matchups here. To be honest, Cole, one of the worst brawlers in the meta. People aren't really saying it too often, but honestly, he really never ever see him in any comps anymore, which is a little bit refreshing. Cole in the meta is nice, but he has been meta for a very long time, so it's interesting to see different comps rather than just playing Cole everywhere. But especially with that gadget as well, we're getting really toxic. So now again, Semantic's just waiting for his gadget to make a good play, but we do actually get some good pressure here. I believe Trevor goes up a little bit, wastes some ammo, so I recognize that Semantic's getting some good pressure. No one really getting any shots on him. Tom catches off Trevor. I catch off Trevor as well, and it's just really good team chemistry from us, and we're able to close off the final game 3-0 and just completely sweeping Qlash. Alright guys, it's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As I said loads of times, I really love making these type of videos. I know they don't always get the most views or do particularly well on my channel, but I just really enjoy breaking down the competition games, especially all the really high stake tournaments. This has probably been the most high stake tournament in the last 2-3 months. So coming off top, getting number 1 and sweeping Qlash 3-0 is just really good going into next year. And also speaking about next year, if you guys didn't know or checked out Tom or checked out my Twitter either, next year the roster is going to be me, Tom, Casey and Drage. Unfortunately, us and Semantic have part ways, so I wish Semantic all of a luck going into next year. Semantic has been a fundamental part of our team. One of the best players in the world easily, and without him, I would have been able to achieve nothing that I did in 2020. So obviously, I'm going to be sad that I'm not playing with Semantic next year, and obviously all of that stuff will stay private. I won't announce why we actually decided to part ways, but it's just the world of esports. That's how it happens, but we 100% remain friends. One of the best friends I've made in Brawl Stars as well, and as well as a player, as I said, he's just absolutely insane. I'm excited to see what he's going to achieve next year, because I'm certain wherever he goes, he'll be achieving greatness by how good he is at Brawl Stars. But that's going to be the end of today's video, ending off on a bit of a sad note, but also excited about the new roster. So in future videos, future tournaments, be ready to see me, Tom and Casey play, because Drake isn't old enough. He's not old enough until midway through the season, so we'll be seeing predominantly me, Casey and Tom. So I'm really excited to see that, the triple UK lineup, and then when Drake is old enough, 4 UK players on one roster. I'm waiting for that big dub. But that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.